It's Ruadhán here, and I'm at a very unflattering angle because well, basically I didn't want to bring over a stack of DVDs and, well, I've got a stack of, deck of tarot cards, and it's like, often when I'm at my chair, I've either got a selfie stick, which currently is in bed for reasons I do not want to get into right now, or, it's on several things, usually a stack of DVDs. I'm like, I'll just put my pill pods here on top of the tarot deck because I'm a very organized person. And so let's do a no, stay. So let's do a mailbag video because I've been doing a lot of these lately, and I'm also going to include some stuff I picked up from Crazy Wisdom in downtown Ann Arbor. If you are local to me, that's where I go for a majority of my replenishable pagan supplies. So I went outside of my usual way of doing this. So this came from Lords of the Left Hand. This is a shop on Etsy, and I haven't gotten any of these patches from there. But I did get patches for my chartreuse jacket. So, my chartreuse jacket, the one that I dyed chartreuse, I've actually got a pair of jeans that back here, that are in white, that, if you're interested, I could do a tutorial on dyeing things from white into the vibrant colors that I like, for my white denim. You know, I mean, yeah, it's so easy to find denim in black, but it's so hard to find them in the colors that I like when I want something colored. So I usually just buy it in white, which is easier to find. I mean, there's been a bit of a fad for it again. Last I remember seeing white denim anything was late 80s, early 90s. So yeah, if you're interested, I could do a little tutorial video of dyeing the white jeans. I'm probably going to need to get the iDye poly, so it's going to be a different, so it's going to be a slightly different process to dyeing the jackets, just because. So yeah, like in addition to the other patches that I have, the ones from Oakthorn. Oh, this one's from Oakthorn Studios, is it? Okay, if I get that card from there, it's going to topple a lot of things over. So this one's from Oakthorn, and there's another one on the back from Oakthorn, but I'm like, I'm in underpants aside from this, so these are a lot of goth bands. This is, so Lord of the Left Hand, they have a lot of patches, and one of their patches listings on Etsy for the patches was basically a grab bag of 10 gothic and death rock patches, you know, their pick. I also got one that was about $3, which is an Echo and the Bunnymen one, and I can't decide if I want to put the Echo and the Bunnymen right here, or if I want to put it on the chartreuse one, but I'll decide. So, first we've got this little thing from them, and I'm going to read that off to you, because I like to read things, even though I have to push it up to my face. So, Lord of the Left Hand patches. Hi, kitties. Kitties are playing in a bag. Lord of the Left Hand patches are screen printed on raw cut fabric pieces that can be sewn down or put on with studs or safety pins. The edges are raw, so they will fray unless you turn the edges under when sewing, like I did on this one. Then the edges will fray. Sewing. If you sew the patch down without turning in the edges, then the patch edges will fray only to the stitch line, which we think looks good. It all depends on what you like. Cut fabric pieces vary in size, but have enough sew space on all sides of the image to do what you need to get done. These patches are printed on a heavy twill canvas type material. You may notice that some of the patches have more room on one side than the other. That's for your benefit. You can cut them to be more even, or use it to tuck under while sewing. Thanks for the order. If you have any problems, please write us first. Please send pics of your patches. Okay, and then we've got a little ad here. Abraxas, Feral and Filth debut 7-inch of the Cincinnati-based dark hardcore punk band. Okay, Oh, they are on Bandcamp, so that's abraxashxc.bandcamp.com. They've got a couple other sites. You can find them from Bandcamp, I'm sure. So buttons. Okay, purple bandana, spider bandana, skull bandana, the other oak thorn patch. As you see, I'm very, very organized. So, this one is the one I got from Germany. That's the, oh, thank you, kitties! So this is the Moon Phases one. This is a thin, cotton, it's not quite a twill, I'd say, but it's a thinner cotton, do they call it duck cloth? So, this is more of a cotton, twill canvas, sort of weight, and I like that. Now, the Creature of the Night one, up here going shoulder to shoulder, that's one of the cotton duck cloth, that's like the Moon Phases one, but I do like the heavier fabric. It puts up with me a lot easier. I also, when I'm sewing patches onto denim, I prefer to use, this is a crochet or darning thread. You can use it for either. They usually sell, they usually pitch it as a crochet thread when there's the wrapper on around it. So this one is in purple. I've also got a thinner weight that is labeled as a purling cotton. So, but it's still heavier than your basic thread, and I like that for denim because it tears less easily. Like denim, I put my denim, like my jeans, including my overalls. I love my bib overalls lately. I don't know why. My denim jackets, I put those through a lot. So please stay. So I put my denim through a lot, and there we go. Maybe that's why he's trying to escape. So I put my denim through a lot, and because I put my denim through a lot, I like a heavier thread to do things with. And so when you use a heavier thread, when it's a thinner fabric, the heavier thread is more likely to tear it, but the heavier fabric can put up with a heavier thread. So that's why I like the heavier fabrics. And, like if it's on a thinner one, I'll just put it in a spot that doesn't get so much abuse. So this is the Echo and the Bunnymen design that they've got, and I love Echo and the Bunnymen. Oh yeah, the Oakthorn one, that's on a really heavy canvas. I really like their stuff. So let's see what surprise ones they put in for me. So we've got a Sex Gang Children. That's always nice. I do enjoy their music. His manager of sorts, not so much. If you've ever dealt with her online, she's a task and a half, isn't she? 45 Grave, the Black Cross Baphomet that they've got on some of their stuff. Oh, we've got Only Theater of Pain, of course. They also have this in a back patch, but and I thought about it, but then I thought, to go with this one, I'd want to get something a bit more, witchy and pagan looking. So, but plus, like, for some reason, all of their patches, like this, 10 plus, that had no postage on the listing, but the back patch has a $3 postage charge listing, and I can't understand why, because all of these together, they really, I can't imagine it weighs that much less than a back patch, folded up properly. So, I don't know. Maybe it's the way that they ship it, but there were fold lines in the listing. So, and we've got a Bauhaus, and I've got this vinyl that it's taken from, this Specimen Betastrophe. I've got that vinyl, so that's nice. Oh, and then we've got 1919. I like their stuff. They're one of those bands that, apparently had just like a really small, number of records that they did in the early, mid-'80s. And then I guess some of the members, reconnected, and so they just re-released a bunch of stuff on Bandcamp, and they have the biggest following they've ever had, as best as I can tell. Oh, we've got two of the Smiths here, and as I say, so we've got The Queen is Dead, which is a great one. I love Derek Jarman's short film / music video for this. There's 3 songs for the Queen is Dead film with that Derek Jarman did, but I know the Queen is Dead. They took that bit. They took that segment for the music video, and there were a couple others that a couple other segments. So there were the 3 songs total on that. And but I think that's the only one that was treated as the official music video. Oh, and then we've got Amita's Murder. That's a good album, but as I've said, nobody hates Morrissey like his fans do. Take that as you will. Oh, and then we've got The Damned. That's a great classic font they've got there. And then we've got another Christian Death, Only Theater of Pain style one. And so, okay, let me put Amadeus back, and I'll just stick these on top, and get my bandanas there. Speaking of bandanas, I am scripting a video of, basic essentials for a goth wardrobe that, in my experiences, goths of every age and gender end up owning. So, just basically a little tutorial for your goth wardrobe starter kit for the baby bats amongst us all. So, this is what I picked up from Crazy Wisdom yesterday. So, on Wednesday, the 3rd. So, this is the latest issue of Witches and Pagans. I am friendly enough. I've got a, civil, working sort of friendship, amongst the pagan blogosphere with a few of the people who write for this. And, so this is, Gods, Goddesses, and the Glorious Divine, Tuath with the Orisha, The Path of Connection, Hidden Germanic Goddesses, A Party for Parvati, Sacred Marriage in Northern European Traditions, God/Esses of Avalon, and Stygian, Goddess of Compassion. And I don't know, the one on here, this looks like she could either be a Santeria or a Voodoo Orisha, or I could get a Kali vibe off of that. This is, when they get artists to do the covers, I really love the artists that they tend to select. When it's photographed covers, it's like, eh. Then I also picked up the 2019 Witches Date book. I really love these. I've been getting one of these, I want to say, since 2013, and I have most of them. Still. The reason I keep most of them is, so they've got a table of contents here, but, you've got, a little, guide to, their symbols and whatnots on the various pages, how to read certain elements of a date listing, and then we turn the page, and here we start some articles. So for 2019, we've got For the Birds by Monica Crossan. I think that's how you say it. Let's see, Navigator Between Worlds. Okay, Creating a Bird Habitat. So this is, and they're all, really useful little articles, too. Visualization Using All 5 Senses by Autumn Damiana. I apologize if I butchered that. Okay, spellcraft ideas for each sense: hearing, touch, taste. There are. It's been noted since antiquity that there are more than 5 senses. If you want to get into strictly speaking, there's also a sense of time. I have a very. It's not the best sense of time. I can't tell when 5 minutes have passed or when an hour has passed, and that really, was like a wedge between myself and one of my exes. He and I are great friends still, though, but, trying to get me to do anything, especially before the Adderall, it was just I could say, okay, I need 5 minutes to wrap up what I'm doing, and then, half an hour and some has passed, and he's like, dude, we need to go. Let's see, After the Offering by Blake Octavian Blair. We've got nature-friendly offerings, so this looks like, just advice on how to do things after you've, made an offering at your altar and or shrines. And they are different things. I can, if I forget, remind me to put the link in the description and or comments. I wrote a good piece on that that's still, like, used as source material for some people on the difference between altars and shrines on my older Hellenic blog. Okay, Eisenhower grids for witches. What's this about? Stereotypes about American witches have changed since the 1970s, especially when it comes to our organizing skills. Okay, let's see. Important and urgent. Change the. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I'm not sure what they mean by Eisenhower grid, but it could. Okay, went to journal and grid. Okay, this could be useful. This could be useful because, as I said to my new therapist, that now that I'm on the Adderall and I can focus on one thing at a time more easily now. I can focus on one thing at a time for the first time I can remember, honestly. Now my issue is, like, getting past this habit that, you know, she and I have, you know, likened to kind of a learned helplessness. Like, when you're 37 years old and you're just finally getting medicinal treatment for your ADHD. You can develop, you know, it's kind of like a learned helplessness, like, you know, like, learned helplessness. They've done experiments where, like, you know, you can, like, shock the bottom of a dog's kennel, and, you know, at first the dog will react, and he can react for, you know, like, hours or, you know, days even, you know, to these, like, regular shocks, like, every, you know, 10 minutes, but eventually the dog just, you know, will decide, you know what, fuck, I give up, it's just gonna shock me every 10 minutes, fuck this, I just give up and lay down and accepts the shocks. So, I mean, that's kind of like how being unmedicated for your ADHD for almost 40 years can feel. It's like, you know, you just kind of, you know, get to a point where you're thinking, okay, I can't focus on one thing at a time without some serious help, and even then it's difficult, so I just give up. I'm not doing anything, you know, until I've got, like, you know, that, like, 10-minute moment of clarity a month where I can actually do something. So now it's like, I can focus on things one at a time. Now it's like, I've got to get out of these bad habits that I've had for 35-odd years. Okay, so this might be a really good article for me. So let's see, Positions of Power by Charlyn Walls. Charlynn. That's an interesting spelling of that. Excuse me, it's a bit chilly outside. I was waiting for the bus longer than I expected. Okay, body position symbolism, connecting with the sun, moon, and earth, connection through gestures, conclusions. Okay, and here we get into the actual planner part. Another thing that I really love about these, so we've got these little, like, you know, mini articles throughout. You know, here, the witch's jewelry. A witch's jewelry is probably one of the most personal magical tools. After all, we wear jewelry on our body within our energy field for long periods of time. And then we've got recipes, and this here, this is a huge reason I've started collecting these since I've started using them. So let's see, basil and lemon fish cakes. Oh, and then we've got art. So it kind of goes like little mini article, recipe, art. There's usually a pattern to these. Oh, and then there's an article, and then there's a article about, like, you know, a different, you know, like, aspect of the moon, usually in all of these. So let's see, we've got the wondrous moon for January. Now this thing where they've got the whole month at a glance, that's new since 2018. So they started doing this in the 2018 ones. And one of the things that I like about this is, you know, I'm not messing with my bag right now, but on this side, the notes side, I pretty much, like, write down, like, all of my bills for the month, you know, so that I can budget accordingly. And then here, I don't know, sometimes it's doodles, sometimes I just, like, jot down, like, quick little notes. Okay, Imbolc summoning the flame for February. There's usually one like that on February and various, you know, like, cross-border days and all that. And then we've got more art. And, let's see, blades, both practical and magical. The mirror moon. Okay, so it seems this year they're doing every other month a recipe. Where's the next recipe? Ostara. That's, you know, I've got mixed feelings, especially now with the current tradition the current path I'm going on. Like, I've got mixed feelings about, you know, things like Ostara, because that's not a historical goddess. That's not that, but at the same time, like, you know, and when I say historical, I mean, like, this is not a goddess who was, you know, worshipped by, you know, the ancient Nordic / Germanics, or even, like, Anglo-Celtic, you know, peoples. This is a goddess who, you know, was named, I want to say, 18th, maybe 19th century. So, at this point, it's pretty accepted that, you know, she is a goddess of some sort. Where she came from, anybody's guess. If you're, you know, if you're coming from a more, I guess, chaos magic sort of, you know, mindset, where, you know, it's like, oh, you know, we create gods from a thing in ourselves, and then, you know, they become whole entities. I've read a little bit about that. I'm not completely sold on chaos magic theology, but it is interesting, and it is a lot more involved than some of the, what I call traditional polytheists, which is the mindset I'm coming from. So, you know, it's a bit more nuanced than a lot of the traditional polytheists like myself, you know, tend to, you know, give it credit for. Like I said, you know, it's a bit more nuanced than, you know, what they say. It's like, you know, like, you know, if I were a chaos magician, I'd, you know, it sounds like I'd say, you know, like, yes, you know, we can, you know, create deities through, you know, our thoughts and actions and the act of worship, but after they're created, you know, they have their own powers, they have their own you know, they have their own energies that, you know, I mean, we can't necessarily control them. We can, you know, ask them, you know, for their guidance and their and their healing and their and all that. But, you know, they then exist as their own entities. You know, this is something that, you know, yes, was created through, you know, the collective force of the human psyche, but, you know, that doesn't mean it exists only as a thought form. And that's a bit more nuanced than a lot of traditional polytheists, you know, like myself. And like myself for a long time, I was just like, oh, that's, you know, so basically you just, like, make shit up, and, you know, if you say it's a god until it's not. And, you know, but I'm coming from a more traditional, oh, this is definitely a thing I want to make, the roast garlic pepper pasta salad. But yeah, like, as a traditional polytheist, you know, as I've said before, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, for, you know, the gods have always existed, and, you know, some gods take longer to discover, you know, and name or discover the names of for a long time. Other gods, you know, we've known about for a long time, but some gods are only just now letting themselves become known to us, and, you know, I'm okay if I'm going to be practicing with somebody who has a bit more of a, you know, like, chaos magic, you know, theology in them. I'm not going to agree with them, but, you know, as long as we both believe that the gods, you know, are their own entities who, you know, exist even without us, then I'm good. So, something else I picked up from Crazy Wisdom is this little matchbox. On this side is a black cat. On this side is, you know, kind of a Siamese point cat. And it is just a little box of matches. What? Oh, please don't spill out all over me. I would like for that to not happen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is just... Oh, and we've got the strike paper on this side. So this was $3 from Crazy Wisdom, and not sure exactly how many matches are in here, but I can definitely refill this box. You know what? Let me turn it around. There we go. There's my little black cat. And oh, there we go. That's pretty. Oh, I hate that smell of sulfur. Why did I do that inside? I don't know. So this, it was $3. It was payday. I'd kind of been eyeing this little box of matches for quite some time, just because there's a black cat on the one side. That's just how I am. My little shrine in my kitchen to the household spirits is just like all black cats. Most of them variants of the lucky cat design with the one paw up or the other paw up, and one's got both paws up. I should do one of those, a video about those. Then we've got Oh, that's a really nice smell. So, this Hem brand incense cones, they're not the best incense cones, but they're inexpensive and they get the job done. So that's why I get those. You know, like I said, they're inexpensive, they get the job done when, you know, if I'm doing something a bit more, you know, that I need that for, I use a better incense, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I want to save a little bit of money, you know, and I want to, you know, and when I have the better incense, I want to save it. So, I've got a couple tumbled rocks, and I know I've mentioned before that I prefer the rough stones to the tumbled, but they've got a bunch of tumbled ones at Crazy Wisdom, and they're really inexpensive. Like, so this is a bloodstone, and where did my little jobby go? There it is. Okay, so the bloodstone was $1.75, and this is a bloodstone, and they're usually, let's turn on the torch here, so they're usually kind of a greenish color with, you know, auburn, which is a reddish-brown, and they've got, like, you know, like little deposits of a reddish-brown going throughout the green, you know, which is, you know, where the name comes from. So what's it say here? And they give you these little slips at Crazy Wisdom. Well, I mean, you can ask for them. You can ask for without, too. Let's see. Traditionally, bloodstone is told to have the power of prediction future. I think they mean predicting future events. It is said to help with calming, particularly in survival situations. Okay, so yeah, this is a good one for the, this is a good rock for the Dahara I was gonna use for. It brings mystical energies of increasing adaptability and organization, and lessening confusion and anxiety. Bloodstone helps with cleansing of blood and any organ related / connected with the blood. So the name kind of comes from, you know, like all of the little, you know, swirls of, you know, auburn in the green. You know, it looks, you know, like they say, you know, it kind of looks like blood upon the earth and all that, and it's okay, you know what? I'm gonna stick it right there. And so this is a black onyx. It's a little rougher, and it's got some characteristics with those, you know, whitish gray deposits there. It kind of like looks like a snowflake, obsidian almost, but it is, yeah, that's definitely a rock, not a glass. Obsidian is a natural volcanic glass, rather than a rock. But yeah, like, I can definitely, I can smell the difference between a rock and a glass. It's, so, like, I was a little concerned about this when I saw it in with the black onyx, but then I sniffed it, and I'm like, no, that's definitely a rock, not a glass. This one is a little less detailed, so it just says, protection, captures and grounds against psychic attacks, protects against adversaries, protects against black magic, blocks negative influences. So that's, you know, just a little quickie thing here. And then there's this one. And this was waiting for me for 3 weeks. And I'm actually so glad it was still there. So, this is, now this was listed as a calcite with cobalt in it. And so, so yeah, like when I do a video about all of my various like rocks and crystals and all that, I should do one. So this probably, so it's a calcite with cobalt in it. So it's going to be predominantly calcite, but it's going to have some of the properties of the cobalt as well. But it's just, and this was $17. So yeah, like, I definitely had to, like, put this on the, like, okay, if it's still there in 3 weeks, then I can pick it up, because even 3 weeks ago, I had a little bit more money than I did by the end of the month, but at the same time, I was just like, can I really justify it? And, but yeah, it stuck around for me, it was waiting for me, so I had to get it. Oh yeah, the day I did get that, I went specifically looking for one of these. This would be the blue goldstone. This is goldstone. It comes in 3 colors. Normally, it's kind of like a russet, you know, rusty, coppery color. Next most popular is blue. I've also seen it in green. They don't currently have any green at Crazy Wisdom, but I do need to get a red one in the egg. shape. Goldstone is a it's a man-made glass. The legend behind it is that it was developed by monks working on alchemy. Please be nice. It was developed by monks working on alchemy, and so this is one of their thwarted attempts at creating gold out of lesser elements, or less valuable elements. So it's a glass. It is a glass, and it's just, look at that. It's so sparkly. It's so sparkly, and oh, I love it. I can watch this in the flashlight on my phone for days. But we are taking up so much time here, and I guess that's it. So yeah, if you are in the Ann Arbor area, Crazy Wisdom, a bookstore, and tea room. I do also recommend, like, if you've got the time, to go to the tea room, second Tuesdays, I believe. I'll have to check again, but it is, last I knew, it was second Tuesdays, unless I'm totally, like, failing to remember correctly. There is they call it a witch's meet, but, they just, it's all sorts of pagans come and meet up second Tuesdays at the tea room in Crazy Wisdom. And that's the second Tuesday of every month, not every other Tuesday, just, like, so the next one will be, okay, so the 9th of October, and then not another one until November. So I will probably be at that one because I need to go, I don't know, like, make some extra friends in the area. I've got friends in the area, but I spent most of the last year, like, not interacting with them all too much because I had a boy toy, and this is a classic Cancer trait, and I get, like, totally stupid and holed up into, domesticity kind of, traits when I've got a new boy toy of whatever variety, and, usually I find my grounding a little, usually I find myself a little bit sooner than I did in this case, but, this was probably not the healthiest relationship I've been in, especially the last couple months, but, at least early on, I was very happy at the beginning, and then, I don't know, I just kind of started losing myself a little bit, which is not good. So yeah, I put it off a week longer than I should have, but I really do need to cleanse in here with that sage lavender wand that I got last month over from the person on Etsy and mentioned in the other videos. So, okay, it looks like we're done. We've gone through all of my newly begotten crap, and I should probably start working on that jacket that I love so much and want to make all fancy and shit. Okay, till my next video, sweethearts. Okay, take care. Bats and kisses. Mwah. And let me turn this off first, and now we can turn off this, and goodbye.